So this is going to be a bit of an impromptu video on how to modify the lighting in a stage in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on PC, as well as modifying color fog and other things. To do that, you're going to be modifying the SDL file. So in this case, it'll be environment00.sdl. And to do that, you're going to need to pick up RevelLib. This is a toolset developed by this guy, Predator CZ, and you can find it at this link. You're gonna grab it and you're gonna extract it anywhere. I have it extracted here. To modify an SDL file, you're going to need to grab your environment00.sdl, drag it over SDL to XML. A small window should pop up and you should get an environment00.xml file. You're gonna open it in the text editor of your choice. I like using Notepad++ because it makes stuff very simple to do. To modify the lighting on the stage, you're going to look at some elements. You're going to look at infinite light underscore stage. This class affects the lighting on the physical stage you play on, not necessarily the background. That's going to be handled later. U infinite light Kara underscore front. This handles the lighting applied on the characters. You can also modify this if you want to add a certain hue, if you want to change the tint or the hue of your characters. Same applies for shadows. EFT is for effects. Jivare is for fissures that happen from the ground. So whenever you do a TAC upwards twice and then you hit them back down, the fissure from the ground is called the Jivare. You also have here the hemisphere light. This affects the backgrounds of the stage. And then you have the color fog, which is present on most stages and oftentimes influences like a fog of sorts. And usually it doesn't have that distinctive a color. If it has a color, it usually is to accentify some aspects of the stage. Like it makes Bond Wonderland a bit more blue in a sense. But for now, we're going to be working with Asgard. The next thing you're going to need, you're going to need a RGB color picker from 0 to 1. That's because the XMLs store color in a unit RGB value. So it goes from 0 to 1 instead of your standard 0 to 255 values. So I'm going to be changing the color of the lights on Asgard to be a green. You can you can be procedural about this and pick a really good green, or you could be like me. Let me just disable the force dark page. I just did that for my eyesight. But you can be like me, and then you can pick like a subtle light. So we're just gonna go with these values for now. This part's gonna be a bit mundane, but you can skip ahead if you would like to. I'm gonna keep this simple. You can also increment the values past 1 if you want to increase intensity. I haven't really modified that. I just kind of stick with the 0 to 1 values that are included, and then you can just take the M color vector and then replace that wherever else you'd want it. So I take it here and I paste it. Same stuff works. I don't really tend to mess with hemisphere light. Maybe sometimes with fissures because they could be a bit interesting. I haven't also messed with the vector color for ref color. Probably could take a look at it later, but I haven't really messed with it. Where's the hemisphere light? Here. Change that as well. If you're unsure what these colors are, you could probably like take a look at them, plug them in here, and then take a look at what they are. This is probably just a very light white color. Just gonna copy paste the same one I have. For color fog, there's two different color values you should look out for. There's a standard M color one that we've been looking at, and then there's an M height color. M color affects what's happening in the background of a stage. It controls the fog of the color of the background of the stage, while high color controls the foreground of the stage, the area where you play on. Usually I just make this the same. I actually tend to make the height the M color value, I tend to make the M color value the value that I normally use. And then I take the height color value and I make that just like a teensy bit lighter because I'm not trying to influence whatever's happening in the front of the stage all that much because that's already having a color being applied onto it, applied onto the lighting rather. Again, this video is very impromptu. I would have probably like written the script and everything, but I'm doing this a bit off the cuff because it's late. So you can close that now after you saved it. Fire up your Revel toolset and your SDL folder. Grab your XML. drag it over XML to SDL. You'll get a new one. You can match it by the date. You open your stage in 3work tool. You go to the environment 00 SDL files right here. You hit replace. You can just grab it where you find it. So save it anywhere. I don't really care. Make sure you're replacing with the SDL, not with the XML. If your tool does not recognize it like that, then you can open up mode 3, scanning mode, the and then you could go to your stage. My stage looks a bit different, but
Asgard
more green now.
Who will come out on top? Live and let die.
You can't really tell that much because Asgard, as it is a green stage. But you can tell the characters definitely gone a bit greener. Parts of the stage have gone a bit greener. You can tell if what's done with the stage has been effects or SDLs if you look at what happens during super zoom in and the blue background aspect of a stage. So if I do a super here, you can see the floor is still somewhat yellow on a stage. Same with this. It's a bit yellow and then it's just back to being green. Okay, and you can see the Pegasus here also has a bit of a light applied onto him. Because Asgard happens to be a very green stage, so all the effects aren't that noticeable. The changes, rather, are not that noticeable. If you did it on a stage that's a lot more bland, such as Bone Land, you wouldn't really notice it. You would notice that a lot more, rather. Alright, that's the end of that video. Bye-bye.